5 months ago, I posted this video where I show my ultimate N8N AI agent workflow for financial data. It picked up quite a few views over time as more people might have tried feeding Sheets data to an LLM, only to figure out it isn't as simple as using the Google Sheets node to filter the data. Since I still receive comments asking for a setup tutorial, in this video I'll show you absolutely everything from self-hosting an N8N instance to setting up the project with all API key configurations needed. These are all my notes of what we're going through in this video, starting off with an overview. And this overview is just showing you why this workflow is really necessary. First of all, if you have a huge spreadsheet like this, where you can scroll all the way down here and there's like nearly 1,500 rows, if you were to use how some of these workflows explain, what it would do is just grab everything from this column, copy it, head over to the context window of the LLM. So let's imagine this is the context window. So this would be the user input. Please fetch the average pricing of the products. And then the AI would do some kind of filtering. It really depends on what people actually do with this. Some people actually grab everything from the table and send it over to the context window. And then what some people do is, well, the AI won't be able to calculate this on its own because an LLM doesn't do math. So what they would do is give it a calculator tool, and then the AI would send all of these numbers over to a calculator tool, calculate that, get a result. So all this is just wasting you a lot of money, and it really makes the app a lot slower. And this, I'm using just an example of 1,500 rows. What if there were 10,000 rows, 20,000, 50,000? So the best way that at least I found to solve this issue is actually use Postgres. You kind of train the AI with this system prompt in here, which is kind of huge, but it understands how it should produce the SQL to then search for whatever you need inside of the database. So whenever you open up the chat and make that same question, let me get the question from what we drew up here, grab that, paste it in there, and let's see what it gets for us and how it gets to that result. Nice. So this is everything it did, all the steps. It was pretty fast. The final value is 5,445. If we go inside of the agent, go to the logs, tool usage, we can understand that first it understood the Postgres schema to know what is inside of the database. And after understanding that, it just went inside of it, executed this query. So select the average of that specific column, got the average price back, and inserted it inside of the context window. So our actual context window is this. The only reason that it's kind of big is because inside of the system prompting, we actually kind of instruct it how it should build that SQL query. Now, I know some people would say that for this specific example, it should be fairly easy since we can just do some kind of filtering from behind the scenes, use a tool that filters and then gets the average of an entire column. There's a workaround to this specific case, but what if you wanted to get only the average pricing of specific products that are from specific categories and everything? So you end up in a situation where you need to build specific solutions for every single use case. And that's kind of exactly why AI agents are so relevant. They can have a specific tool, in this case, a Postgres generator tool that allows it to, based on the situation, fetch inside of the database whatever it actually needs. So it's the one creating that specific solution. Enough of the overview, let's go through self-hosted versus N8N cloud. This is something that I've been wanting to talk for a while about because I see a lot of people just going for N8N cloud. And despite them having pretty nice features that have people integrate things in N8N pretty fast, I really don't think it's the best option, and you'll see in this video why. Basically, for an annual subscription, you'd have to pay $20 every month. For the starter plan, for the pro plan, $50. And then if you wanted to self-host, and a lot of people confuse this when they see this kind of self-hosted, because whenever a content creator like I'm doing right now, I explain about self-hosting, maybe you don't have an understanding of what is exactly self-hosting. And then you go inside of this N8N pricing, you see the self-hosted, and then you see $667 per month. And you think, hey, why would I pay that much if I could just pay $20? But self-hosted N8N, for example, you can do that inside of Hostinger for as much as $7 a month. And some people, when they see this screen, they see KVM1, KVM2, KVM4, KVM8. So which one would be sufficient for my use case for what I want specifically? And most importantly, does N8N run in this KVM2 instance, for example? Inside of the prerequisites for N8N, you'll see a CPU/vCPU of a minimum of 10 CPU cycles. I have never seen this specification like this before, but yeah, 2 CPU vCPU cores is more, like a lot more than enough to run N8N, as it is for the database. So from 512 megabytes to 4 gigabytes SSD, in this VPS, we have 100 gigabytes of NVMe, way more than enough. And for the memory, up to 2 gigabytes, but on our VPS, we have 4 times that amount, 8 gigabytes of RAM. And yes, this video is being sponsored. I'm really glad that it's being sponsored by Hostinger because I have used their services since 2022, and I really regret not using it before. I mean, it's really fast. Their dashboard is fantastic. They have servers everywhere in the world. But to be honest with you, I'm kind of a cheap guy, and I just went with them at first because of the pricing. It's really cheap. I mean, this section of the video is about you using self-hosted. So ideally, we would use a VPS since we have a more predictable cost at the end of the month. And since I mentioned VPS, I know that configuring it can be a bit difficult at times. So they already have N8N already done as an application here. As soon as you sign up and you log inside of your account, you'll have access to N8N immediately. So you could go through this route, but I would much more recommend you configure it to use EasyPanel. So if you click on OS with panel, just select EasyPanel and we'll install our VPS using EasyPanel, just because you can install N8N in there and also install Postgres, Redis, everything. And if at some point you're not using that anymore and you want to host a website, for example, you can do that inside of EasyPanel as well. You want to code something with Claude Code, with Cursor. You want to host your website created in Lovable. You can use this same server for all of it. But yeah, I'll stop preaching. I know that some people would say that I'm saying this just because I'm being sponsored for that. But if you look back at some of my previous videos, you'll find me talking about Hostinger this same way without being sponsored at all. And if you're still not sure, Google it, try to find a VPS that gives all of these features for this low of a cost. And it gets even lower because if you use my coupon, Leonardo Grig, it goes from $167 down to $150. 10% coupon discount applied. This coupon works for both 24 months period as well as 12 months. It just doesn't work for monthly payments. But I mean, the discount that you get naturally without even using the coupon is massive for whenever you buy for a more extended period. Now let's go through the exact process of how you can set up your account inside of Hostinger. So Hostinger setup, log inside of your dashboard for Hostinger, go over to the setup, choose your location. I'm going to choose United States, hit next. Now down here, if you haven't selected this previously when you bought it, go down to EasyPanel, select that. Now create a root password, click on generate here. It will generate one automatically for you. You can alter this later if you need to, so just hit next for now. Hostinger provides us a malware scanner. You can activate this as well. And now just wait for them to set everything up. Now notice, I started doing this at 14:54. Let's see how long it'll take for us to have a running N8N instance. Okay, nice, it's done. So manage VPS. And now to access our EasyPanel, just click on Manage Panel. This should open up. Let me place a strong password that everyone is seeing. And now, how did you find EasyPanel? YouTube. By continuing, I agree with the terms of conditions. I want to receive, no, I do not want to receive spam. They're not spam. After your EasyPanel is registered, make sure to do this very important, crucial step, which is placing it in dark mode, or else you'll be blind in a few years. Now create a N8N project. In templates, you can search for N8N, click on that. If you want it to always be the latest version, change this to latest, or else just leave it the version that is in here. So hit create, was already created. Click on go to project. You'll see that it's starting up N8N. And don't be afraid of terminals. Just rip the band-aid on using self-hosted because you really don't need to do anything inside of the terminal for now. Maybe sometimes you'll have to do some configurations for the environment variable setup, and you can do that all here. So just place in whatever variable in here, hit save, and you're good to go. Just hit deploy again to have your N8N instance use those keys. Now that the deploy button is showing, it might mean that we can access N8N. So just click on this open button. This same register page as for EasyPanel opens up. Let me fill it all in, ask it to suggest a password for me that no one on earth is seeing, right? hit next. Now you get a bunch of questions, but just hit get started. You should use this one to get some paid features. So send me a free license key. Okay, so now N8N is already all set up. Cheaper, you have access to EasyPanel, where you could just head up here into services, create a Postgres service. So Postgres, hit create, and that's done. You already have a Postgres instance running. Everything in nearly 5 minutes. It's because I talk a lot and I have to do a lot of retakes, but it would be around 4 minutes to be fair. Now let's see how we can actually set up the N8N workflow implementation. Head over to the description of the video down below. Click on the workflow link. This link will open up. I just placed it in here because honestly, Gumroad is free, but just place in a 0 in here. I appreciate whoever donates, but feel free to place a 0 value in here. Just click on get. You'll have to actually place in your email address. Let me place that in here. Hit get, and now you should see the link to download that workflow. As soon as it's downloaded, what I like to do is just drag it up there, copy it, head back to my N8N workflow, create a new one, everything in there, and now we should have our workflow nearly running. But we still have some additional steps, so select these, save this current workflow, head back to the overview, create a new workflow, paste that in here. And for the Postgres node, let's add our credentials. Create new credential. In here, you'll want to change the host instead of localhost. I mean, actually, I think localhost might work. Let me check that. So just grab the password, place the password in here, hit save, and it didn't connect. So yeah, let's actually get the internal host. Just grab that, head back there, place the host in, and now retry. Connection tested successfully. Let me save it, get out of there. No, I don't want to save it to Google. And now Postgres should be working just fine. Save this workflow, head back to the main workflow. Ideally, you should place some name. So AI agent financial data. Now let's grab this part. So copy all that, head back to the overview, save the page, create a new workflow, paste that in. And now let's make this Postgres node actually use our Postgres account. Just by actually toggling it, it will identify it, save that, head back, and let me see the names that I use for each. So this one should be called query executor, and the one below it should be get database schema. So let's go over that. This one is get database schema. Now the other one should be called query executor. Nice. Heading back to the overview, let's select the AI agent financial data. And now we can delete everything from this part. And we only did that because we need to use those workflows as tools for our AI agent. So in here, just type in get database schema, select your workflow. Now for the execute query, select query executor. As soon as that's done, go back, hit save. And now we have to set the credentials for all of these other nodes. For the Postgres nodes, all you have to do is just double click them, double click it again, this one, and now the final one. So now we only have these other 3 nodes to take care of. Now, because everything here is associated with a Google Cloud project, let's head over to console.cloud.google.com. And in here, we'll want to create a new project. Click on that, click on new project. This new project will be called financial data. Hit create. Now, remember to go inside of that project that you just tried to create. It should be created in already created. Click on that. Now go over to the navigation menu, APIs and services, credentials. Click up here to create credentials, OAuth client ID. Click on the configure consent screen. As soon as it opens up, start your branding. Just place in financial data for the app information, user support email, configure that. External, for the contact information, you can fill in your same email address. Hit next, finish, continue, create. And as soon as that's created, you can then go to the clients page, click on create client, select the application type as a web application. And in this part where it says authorize redirect URIs, you'll find that inside of your N8N instance. Click on whichever of these nodes to add a new credential, grab this OAuth redirect URL, copy it, paste that in, and hit create. As soon as you do, the client ID will be shown as well as the client secret. Fill the client ID here, head back, grab the client secret, and place it in there as well. Now you can sign in with Google, so just click to sign in, select the same Google account, and maybe it might not work. Yeah, it didn't work because I have to fill in the audience part. This audience part is where you add yourself as a test user. So just toggle that, place in that same email, hit save. And now that you're added as a test user, you can go back there, click to sign in with Google again, select your account, and now it should work pretty fine. Just continue. Since it is not a verified app yet, you can select all here. And before you move on, let's use everything that is listed here for us to set our scopes. And you might be watching this and thinking, yeah, but inside of N8N Cloud, this is all done for me. But the thing that most people don't know is that you share your quotas from Google Cloud when using the N8N Cloud. And that matters because when you're implementing something, for example, a YouTube integration, if you divide those quotas, which originally you would have up to 10,000 quotas, you divide that and then you kind of don't know what to expect since they are being shared. And it really depends on whatever you're building. But honestly, this configuration is done just one time. So just rip the band-aid off of not wanting to do these type of configuration. So just head over to the menu, click on APIs and services, enable APIs and services. Now is where you'll activate the drive. So just type in drive in there. You'll see Google Drive API. Click on that, hit enable. And now that it is enabled, you can go back to the scopes. Okay, if this screen doesn't show up immediately, you could just come to APIs and services, click on OAuth consent screen, for example, and then everything will open up just fine. Click on data access now. In here, you can configure the scopes. Just click on add or remove scopes. And in here, we'll find all of these and make them accessible. So see, edit, create, and delete all of your Google Drive files. Let me just type in Google Drive. So see, edit, create, and delete all of your Google files. I can toggle that. Now view the photos, videos, albums, toggle that as well. And lastly, see, create, and delete. Exclude that. See, create, and delete its own configuration inside of your Google Drive. After I select all of them, hit update. All of them should be added here. As soon as they are, you can hit save. And when you get everything saved, just head back here, hit continue, and you won't get the same error. It's just because I took a really long time to do that. So let me log back in, hit continue, select everything, scroll down and hit continue. Now everything should be working just fine. Now we'll do the same process for Google Sheets. So just select that, click to create new credential. It's exactly the same client ID. So you could just head back here, clients, select your web client 1, copy everything from the client ID here, head back there, place it in there, client ID, same thing, copy it, fill that in, and now sign in with Google. Select your own email, and now we'll see the scopes that we need to use. So see, edit, create, and delete all of your Google Sheets spreadsheets. That means we need to activate the spreadsheet service as well. So same thing as Google Drive, just type in spread, select that, hit enable. Google has this strange thing where it takes you back to this page, but this page doesn't give you access to the data part. So every time I click on OAuth consent screen, it just suddenly updates the UI and then I have access to data access. So if you have that issue, just do the same process. Now let's add or remove scopes. In here, I just have to ensure that these other fields aren't already filled in. So view and manage metadata files in your Google Drive. Right, let's check that. Now see, edit, create, and delete only the specific Google Drive files. Here it is. Let's toggle that. And finally, see, edit, create, and delete all of your Google Sheets. Let me check that as well. Hit update, go down there, hit save. As soon as it's saved, let's select all of them and hit continue. Let's see if I was faster this time. So now this node is no longer red. And the only one missing is the Google Gemini chat model. All you have to do is type in Gemini Studio in Google, go over to their API key link, click on the Create API key. Here you can find your project, so financial data. Select that, click on Create API key, click to copy the API key, head back here, create credential, and paste that API key down here. Hit save, it will test it, see if the connection is successful. If it is, you'll get that green message. Hit save. And now I think our project should be working. So this node right here is the node where you can change which Google Sheet it is using. For this example, we're using this one. Let me paste it in here. You can see that it's the same one that we used previously that has a lot of data. This should be inside of your own personal account. And the other thing you should look out for is what is the name of the sheet. So this sheet is named Sheet 1. Let's rename this to Sheet 1. After that's done, save, and let's click this button to test workflow. Okay, it's going through everything, fetching the sheet data, verifying. It created the table query, executed that query, then created the insertion query, and finally inserted everything to our database. Now that everything is inside of our database, let's test the chat. Just click on the open chat toggle, and let me make that same question. So please fetch the average pricing of the products. So it's using the Gemini model, got the schema, and we got the same results. And let me actually make more examples here. So how many products have ratings above 6? There are 0 products with ratings above 6. So if I now come over here to the rating and I change it to something like, right? If I ask it right now, it won't know because the database wasn't updated yet. And we actually got an error here executing the query, but the AI agent was smart enough to fix its query and make it work. So the thing about updating the database is re-executing this workflow. It is not technically really efficient for us to be updating this every minute, as it actually removes the table and creates it again. But if you're only going to use this chat agent a few times a day, then you'll benefit from just hitting the test workflow, having it execute again, and then having the database updated. As soon as you do, let me head back here and make the same question. So how many products have ratings above 6? Now it found that product, so there is 1 product with a rating above 6. And I love how efficient this is, because if you go over to the logs, you'll see the execute query tool only executed a really simple SQL to fetch for that specific count for ratings above 6. I wouldn't say this workflow is already done for a client to use. And to be honest, I wouldn't say any workflow is already done for every single client, because each one has their specific use cases. But I believe it has everything necessary for you to adapt to any situation that a specific client needs in regards to using an AI agent to fetch for data inside of a spreadsheet. That is it for this video. Make sure to check out the link for Hostinger's 10% coupon down in the description, as well as the download for this N8N workflow. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then.